Hi, everyone at the Joyce. This is Aaron Mattocks, the Director of Programming, and we are joined here today by Hervé KOUBI and Guillaume Gabriel from Compagnie Hervé KOUBI. We hope that you are enjoying the live stream of What the Day Owes to the Night, and we're so grateful to have Hervé and Guillaume join us today for a series of questions. So Hervé, I think we want to start off by just having you give us a sense of the background of the piece. This comes from a very personal story of yours. And when we had it performed at the Joyce back in February of 2018 or January, February, you actually spoke to the audience before each performance and shared a bit of the story of your personal history. And so I wonder if we could just start with you kind of retelling that story for those of us who weren't there.
Yes, I do it again for you now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, it's a very personal story. I'm French. I was born in France, in Cannes, in the south of France, in the French Riviera, the city of the film festival, you know. I discovered when I was 25 that my ancestors come from Algeria, and all my origins come from Algeria. But I have a French name. My name is Hervé. Hervé, it's a very, very French name. It's a little bit like François or Jacques. KOUBI, my family name, it's Arabic, but it was not evident for me to realize that my family name is Arabic. And one day I asked my father where my ancestors come from, because I did not know my grandparents. They all died before I was born. And I supposed that my ancestors come from somewhere in France. And not. And my father, I remember I was 25 and he showed me a picture, a very old picture. On it, a very old man with traditional Arabic clothes. And my father only said one thing. He said, this is your great grandfather. And he speak only one language. It was not French, but Arabic, and only Arabic. And it was a shock for me, a shock. It was the very beginning for me of all my way with my work after, because I had to go in Algeria and found my dancers and make the first performance for the Day Owes to the Night with them.
It's really, yeah, it's a really remarkable story. And how did that inform the beginnings of creation of What the Day Owes to the Night? You sourced your dancers from, like, did you take a trip to?
Yes, it was an, yes. I remember I started with a casting. So I discovered that I remember there were 250 dancers, and only one woman, and only male dancers. And it was for me not usual, because there was only street dancers, b-boy or acrobats. It was a little bit new for me, but it was so much important for me to go in Algeria and to make something with these artists that I didn't I do not ask myself what I have to do. I didn't hesitate at all. Okay, I have to do something with them. If they come from other techniques, no problem for me. Yeah. So it was at the opposite. It was very interesting for me to create something new with them.
And how do you write your choreography in the studio, how is the process of working with those dancers? Are you asking them to show you some of what they're capable of doing? Are you very familiar with b-boy and acrobatics and contemporary dance? It's
at the beginning, the dance come from me, really, at the very beginning. Of course, I use a lot of techniques from my dancers,
yeah.
acrobacy or b-boying. Not so much, but I love the athletics, la façon, yeah, the skills they have. But when I start to make a choreography, first of all, I have an idea, and a subject, and I'm looking for some references. My question is about Mediterranean basin and the history of the Mediterranean basin. Mm-hmm. And when you look back the our mutual history in this geography, you'll find a lot of things. It's incredible and fascinating. So a lot of things are unfortunately unknown. It's quite pity, I think, but I found a lot of things and some references about architectures, about religions, about poetry. And I use these references, pictorial references, to start to make some movements and after build the space of my choreographies. Okay?
Sorry for my English. No, this is very, yeah. And so what was your own background and training in dance?
Oh, me, I come from dance school.
Yeah.
So I learned to dance at school. I start with a very, very little school in Cannes, but very little school with Anne-Marie Sanguin and Nathalie Cremy. And after to Rosella Itour Dance School also in Cannes. Mm-hmm. My background is a little bit very special because I've been in university and I'm pharmacologist. I don't know, there's no the same diploma in America, but how we can do pharmacology?
Like pharmacology, you mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
And medicines.
Yeah, right.
But c'est un doctorat en fait.
It's doctor. It's a PhD in
France. So in America, you don't need to have this this diploma to sell medicines, of course. Right. So,
wow.
So my background.
Yeah. So you were studying medicine.
Yeah.
And you are doctor. You did it until the end.
Until the end.
Dr. KOUBI.
Yes, I'm doctor. And when I finished my studies, my universities, I remember it at this time. I asked the first time to my father about my ancestors. Mm-hmm. So everything started there, I think.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Guillaume, can you tell us, as a collaborator, you design lights, correct?
Costumes, more costumes than lights. Yes.
Okay.
Lights is it's more like Hervé and the collaboration that he has with Lionel Busoni, who is our technical director, light designer. I think we've been working with him for 15 years. So it's quite a long partnership. So we know well each other's, but Hervé really, he told you that for What the Day Owes to the Night, there was a lot of images that were taken from paintings, and we tried, Hervé and Lionel tried to redo that kind of mood like the hammam or desert light or in that piece. So the light is their job and the costumes is my job. One of my jobs in the company.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like the music also. We wanted a like of come and go between Orient and Occident, between contemporary and traditional. So the costumes in that spirit of something connected with the movement of the dancers that can go with the movement of the dancers, that can emphasize the movement of the dancers,
Yeah.
but also connected with the traditional or oriental spirit, like a relationship with maybe Sufism, when dancers are spinning on their head. It's
Yeah.
like a garish upside down.
Right.
And there's also a kind of like a gi of samurais, or a costume of samurais, like connecting with the martial arts, with Orient. And so it's also a travel between Orient and Occident.
Yeah. And so you mentioned music. Hervé, can you talk a bit about how you build the musical selections? And I think one of the absolutely, I mean, the piece is such a work of poetry. I think it's so beautiful and has this element of the profound and of this kind of like transcendence, this striving upwards and community support that I think has a lot of weight right now and resonance in what's happening. And it's such a beautiful progression of classical music. I think the same, like Eastern and Western influences, but can you tell us a bit more about how you listen to music and choose Mozart, for instance, or Bach, or
it was interesting for me to make realize to the audience, to share with, all I have to say with my dancers, that we have a mutual history. So when I asked to my dancers they come from an Arabic world, and to perform on classical music, on Bach, on the Passion of Bach, I think it makes sense. There's a kind of something very different, but when you cross the two ideas, something happened. And you realize at this moment that we have some links very, very, very strong. I tried to told you just before something unknown, forgotten also in our mutual history. And when suddenly you propose to use classical music, Christian music, suddenly is not, there's something very touching, and again I say it, something makes sense. Okay, Bach is a classical musician from Europe, but Jesus is born in Israel, in Palestine. So I realized that's probably is closer than the Arabic Orient world than the Occident world. So I think it's interesting to make balance between the two entrances of music. Yes.
You've talked a bit about the influences in your work, some of the visual, poetic paintings, etc. What's the, can you tell us a bit more about how you find those influences and how they work themselves into the choreography?
Yeah. For me, it's very simple. At the beginning, I try when I see a reference, I share it with my dancers first. And that starts with some words, some verbs, some descriptions, some feelings to try to draw a shape, a movement, qualities also on it. A little bit later, it's for me my favorite moment to build the space of the choreography, to make all the dancers together. Of course, they don't execute the same choreography at the same time, and I love that. And at the very end, the most interesting for me, I think, it's to propose a distance with my choreography. Ask my dancers to make free, a little bit like I provoke a wave and I ask my dancers to surf on it, a bit like that. So at the beginning, it's very rote dance, written dance, built, constructed. At the beginning, very, and at the end, I break a little bit that to allow my dancers make something for them, to live it really, not to I don't know to say no, yes, not to pretend to be, but really to be in the project. I think the best part for me, yes, really, and I suppose for my dancers also, when they performed, I think at the end they live really what they perform, really.
And all this is a process. It starts with paintings, images, or something like that. Then you make a shape out of it, and then to be a real shape, or to be really living the moment, the instant moment, you go back from the beginning using the mood of the references.
Yeah. And so where are you now in terms of process? Are you researching a new project, and what are some of the influences or paintings or reading that you're looking at right now?
Now, I want to say something to provocate a little bit something. Okay. Because honestly, no, I always think about the next performance, the next question. Really, each time it's always like that. But it's a very special moment, and I allow myself to do absolutely nothing. Sometimes. But it's a little bit strange. It was at the beginning a little bit frightening. Yes.
Yeah.
But I realize it's very interesting also. Probably I hope to prepare when we come back at something normal life. I don't know, but probably differently. I think we probably will have to do differently. Yeah.
And it's a bit strange because we were in the process before that crisis. We were thinking of a new project which is called Sol Invictus, which is a moment in the year that you have to be strong to hope for better times, better futures times. And now we are in that crisis, in that moment. Yeah. So we are it's a bit strange because we have to rethink everything, to start everything from new. What do we do? What's going to be the future of the artistic life in France, but also worldwide, because this is a world crisis, and it's yeah.
And I have my friends, my artist friends, Bérangère Alfort and Faisal Amlat, my assistant. And Bérangère Alfort, it's artistic advisor and philosopher also. And we have some moments by phone, of course, but to speak about, to exchange about some ideas, some feelings at this moment you described. And the title Sol Invictus is really interesting to at this moment. C'est vraiment, si tu peux m'aider, vraiment, c'est vraiment, le titre est vraiment arrive au bon moment.
The title is really at the good moment. Well, it's not a good moment.
No, of course. But
if we,
mais je pense que c'est intéressant, c'est important. It's important to ask ourselves about this moment, to wonder what we can do to make it better later. We have to take care of each others, and I think the world can't go on like that as we did, of course. And I think a lot of artists realize that we have to share something different for the future. I think so, really. And probably for me to give up about the identity questions, to give up that idea and to keep dancing together. This idea for me is always the most important. But it's for that at this moment when I say I do absolutely nothing, it's probably at this moment I realize that the most important is to probably to realize ce qu'on faisait de faux en fait.
What was wrong in what we were previously doing, and
ouais, ce qui était peut-être pas bon dans ce qu'on faisait avant.
What was not good for us.
Right. I mean, I think this, to try to find some kind of positive way through each day and each week, it is absolutely necessary to sort of re-examine how we were living, how we were interacting, how we were making the systems that we all made.
Yeah, that's it.
To take this moment of kind of nothingness, of being almost like frozen in time, to reevaluate the priorities that we all have and the ways that we might want to change the systems that we've operated in moving forward. And nothing, I have a feeling, also means your wheels are turning. Like, I feel like I read somewhere that a relaxed mind is a creative mind.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Out of nothingness is going to come many, many ideas, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I hope that the dancers, I just want to say, for the sake of their incredible artistry, that you have brought such talented people together for the piece. The film is so beautiful, and they are such huge contributors to the experience of watching your dances. And I hope that they are all safe and healthy, along with you guys, and just expressing gratitude for their incredible work all over the world. We've had you, the company, at the Joyce twice now, and it is always such a pleasure. They bring such wonderful energy to a room, and just to remind anybody who has not been able to see this work live that it is an extraordinary experience to be in the theater with a group of people watching these dancers perform live. It's a beautiful document that we have streaming to watch, but just there is nothing so powerful as being in the room with your choreography and design and the whole team and the dancers. It's an irreplaceable experience. And just to remind everybody that we cannot wait to have you and the company back at the Joyce in a room with an audience, being it's a collective experience, and we're trying in every way we can right now to find collectivity through these ways of saying hello, showing the work, wanting people to comment and engage with it and with each other in the process. But I personally can't wait to see you guys again.
No, thank you. Same for us. It's the same for us, really, really, really. And thank you for your words. Thank you. And I really hope my English was not too bad.
No.
With my French accent.
It's like probably better than mine.
So it's a pleasure, really, really, really.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we will enjoy more days of the live stream to come. We will look forward to having a future in which Compagnie Hervé KOUBI is back at the Joyce performing with us. And we are sending all of you goodness, light, health, and happiness.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Really wonderful to see you guys, and stay safe.
For you also, really, really. Take care. Take care.
Absolutely. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Bye.